last satsang, we got into the 5th verse where he said that all beings are bound with the gunas which are born of prakriti, means nature, or vasanas. Prakriti means vasanas in the context. So every individual is bound because of the gunas which are born of prakriti, which bind the indestructible, embodied to the bodied. Now, even though he says it binds the embodied to the body, we didn't touch on that. I'll just mention and finish the concept of the gunas that we started last satsang. When he says bind the indestructible embodied to the body, what it means is, since we are bound by the gunas, all through our lives, we are only experiencing the gunas and we are not experiencing the self or the Brahman. Our experiences, pardon me, our experiences are bound by the limitations of the gunas. We are only experiencing the gunas at all times, far from experiencing the Brahman. Even though he says the indestructible is bound, in reality, the Brahman is never bound by anything. It's only as it were, it seems to be bound. It's like when you pour water in a colored glass, the language you use, water appears blue in a blue tumbler. You don't say water is blue. You say water appears blue, because you and I know water is colorless. Water appears blue. The water in a red container appears red. Water is not red. Similarly, Brahman or the embodied appears to be bound. In reality, Brahman cannot be bound by the gunas. But you and I are bound by the gunas, not Brahman. Because of the bondage of the gunas, all through our experiences are defined by the gunas, which is sattva, rajas, tamas. Now, we try to establish what these gunas are. We understood tamas as heedlessness, as laziness, procrastinating, no action, sloth, inertia, indolence, ignorance, not acting on your duties and responsibilities. Even when you're acting, you're not mindful of the consequences of your actions. And more. All of that is tamas. We said rajas, the first ray of knowledge is action. When you start acting, the first action is towards aggrandizement. The first action everybody performs is towards gaining something for oneself. You act for a personal profit, a personal benefit, a personal gain. You're acting on desires. So every action of a rajasic person, or rajasic actions, are only towards personal benefit, self-centered. Such actions invariably brings about an inner turmoil, It triggers the emotions. It leads you to disappointments. Your mind remains agitated. Since it's desire driven, your desires, the world is not going to, the world is not sitting out there to satisfy your demands and desires. The moment you get up, you want certain things. It's like, let's say I get up at 4 o'clock and if I want a cup of coffee, my wife or anybody in the family are not going to because they may not be up at that hour. So if I want a cup of coffee, I'll have to go to the kitchen and make a cup of coffee for myself. I can't complain. Why is it that nobody is giving me a cup of coffee? You can't complain. The weather is not going to behave the way I want. The moment I get up, I get messages from few people. I may not like to reply, but I have no choice but to reply. So on and so forth. Or I may love to reply, how come there's no message from that person today? So the world is not going to satisfy. The world is never going to satisfy your demands and desires and expectations. So Rajas will always lead you into disappointments and the mind will be in a flux and a turmoil. Remember this. And then we also stated a unique trait of a Rajasic person is a Rajasic person develops tremendous attachment to whatever they act on, whatever they're acting for, they develop a strong bondage to it, a strong binding to attachment, through attachment. All the time, hurrying and worrying, causing annoyance to yourself and others around. That's a trademark of a Rajasic person. Now, Sattva can be understood as obviously all this is a state of mind which reflects in everything that you do. Sattva is a state of mind where your mind is uh, as a result of actions which are driven for a larger good. So when you're acting, you're not acting, there is no desire that's prompting you to act. You're only acting to accommodate a larger cause. So actions for a noble cause, actions for a higher goal or a larger purpose is sattva. Because you're either acting for desire, that's for yourself, or you're acting for a larger good. So sattvic actions are unselfish and selfless in nature. And sattva is when knowledge starts creeping into you, actions become sattvic in nature. And this point is very, very apt or very important. Sattva, okay, I mentioned this point, let me ask you. Sattva is to pursue the higher, Rajas is to pursue the desires. Now the question is, when would you pursue the higher? There are desires in you. There's a possibility of pursuing a higher cause. Sattva is to pursue a higher cause at the cost of your desires. My question is, when would you opt to pursue a higher cause at the cost of your desires? At every point, I have a choice. But if I pursue my personal desires, I'm bringing the rajas in me. See, if there is no desire, then I'm already sattvic to that extent. Then there's no problem. Since all of us have a proportion of all three, we will have to constantly battle out, constantly choose the right from the wrong. So the question is, what's the question, Gayatri?
When do you choose your sattvic actions or goal, higher goal, when compromising the desires of the rajas?
When would you act for a higher cause at the cost of your desires. That is sattva. Sattva is to act by cause. When would you do that? How would you do that? When I say when, I'm looking at how would you do that? Because at every point you can slip into your desires and you can justify and say, oh, this is my life, my desire, my family, my this, my that, and you people, and the whole world is running behind that. But sattva is you work for a cause where it may include you, it may even be at the cost of your own good self, of your own self. You don't care about yourself. There is a providence that takes care of me. You may think that way. But what is that very quintessential point I'm looking at? When would you really pursue the higher? Yes, Ashama.
Pranam Guruji. Now, I have a desire to be among like-minded people. I like people to come home. I like to make something, if that is my desire. Would it be that I have a kirtan at home or some sort of, now during this season, the Gurdwara, they have this Prabhat Pheri. Early morning, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, they go to people's houses and sing a kirtan. So would that be what we are discussing now? I have the desire, but I seek the higher. No?
See, as we say, in any action, let's say you're talking of the act of Gurudwara or the environment you're talking about. Even there, one could be doing that activity for name and fame. You could be doing it for your own selfish purposes. I'm saying just because you may be going home to sing uh, the praise of the Lord, you may want name and fame for yourself. You're not trying to sing the glory of the Lord for your spiritual upliftment. So there's no action per se you can say is good or bad. It's the intent that makes it selfish or unselfish. So your desire to serve people or provide an environment where others can grow, it's an unselfish desire. What is, you can't call it a desire there, it's an unselfish. It becomes a cause, a purpose. So you are putting an effort to create an environment for others to grow. For other,
Right.
you're not doing for your own gratification. You're not doing that everybody should go and say how good Ashama is, how good her cooking is, how beautiful a personality she is. You're not doing for your own self-recognition there. Obviously not. So
Correct.
that is not a desire, I would call it. That is you have a purpose. You are doing it for a larger good. So
Continuing in that thought, my vasana takes me to the Gurdwara. And my gunas determine what activity I do there. Whether I sweep the floor or I go and wash the utensils or I sit in the main hall and listen to the Shabad, the recitation of the holy book. So is that the gunas that determine what I do once I go there?
yes, it's a goodness. A rajasic person may be more prone to action. He'll be running around organizing. He'll be running around
Yeah,
facilitating.
various activities of the
Sattvic
Gurdwara.
person may sit quietly absorbing the whole satsang that's going on. A tamasic fellow will take out his mobile and start doing browsing the net while the puja is going on, while the activity is going on. Tamasic fellow, he is in his own. No, he is not even conscious of his actions. He is heedless to what he's doing. He is unmindful of what he's doing. That's tamas. Even though you're sitting in Gurudwara, you're swiping temple, you're taking selfies. So it's your gunas that are manifesting there. Environment is vasana. Your vasana has taken you to that particular environment. Thereafter is gunas. Okay. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yes, Harish.
I wanted to check, Guruji, is desire always?
We have lost you, sir. We can't hear you.
Can you hear me now, Guruji?
Yes, please. Yeah.
Okay, Guruji, I wanted to ask, is desire normally connotated as a negative all the time or not necessarily? Because, for example, during COVID, our company was going through a downturn due to the situation of the economy and COVID, the shutdown. And we wanted to make sure that we did not fire any staff member because we know the hardship it would cause. We wanted to see the greater good of everybody in our company. So my question is, was that a desire or was that a duty? And is so I'm just a bit confused whether that was our desire to keep the company running, or is it a duty to feel that we shouldn't terminate any staff? Because I just want to know if desire is usually connotated as a negative or not necessarily.
Sir, the moment there is a tinge of unselfishness, it is no more a desire. You said you did not want to fire or you don't want to let go any of your staff in moments of challenge for the company. Even though the company isn't going through a downward trend, you wanted to take people along who had been in the organization because you are considerate to their challenges that they would go through. They might not find a job or they'll not be able to make a livelihood in times of challenges. So the fact that you went out of the way accommodating their interests, even in times where you were being challenged or the company being challenged, is a clear sign of a cause there, a clear sign of a higher purpose, a larger good. Larger good here in the context is the well being of the organization. The moment you think even one person beyond yourself, it's a higher cause, even one soul. Because selfishness is I and I only. The moment it accommodates somebody else, one person beyond yourself is unselfishness. One person. It's a beginning of unselfishness, but that's only a starting point. Like we say, your home should be the center of love, not the boundary of love. When I say center, it means it should start. You should start loving people in your own family or your own community, but don't limit it to that community. It should spread beyond that. So to be a very clear, straightforward answer to the question, the moment there's a tinge of any other accommodating others' interest in your action, it is unselfish. If it doesn't, you don't care about others, it's only I and my, then it's blatant selfishness. So this you can, and in fact, in your question itself, there was an answer. Okay, sir. Thank you. A few comments in the chat box. When your actions are guided by your intellect, Sureshji said, Srinivasji also saying intellect plays a differentiating between desire and higher purpose. My question is, when would you be able to pursue a higher cause? Rightfully so, both of you said that intellect differentiates. But when would you be able to pursue the higher at the cost of the desire? Mark my question. I'm not asking what differentiates between the higher and the lower. The intellect differentiates between the higher and the lower. Like a person who is not colorblind, he will know between black and white, between yellow and green, between red and purple. He would know that differentiation is not the point here. I may know the difference and still pursue my desires. What would you call such a person? Rajasic person, right? In order to pursue the higher, which is to work for a higher cause, not one action in a day, every action in a day is driven towards the larger good of others. Everything I do. I have a choice to pursue my desires, but I choose to work for a higher cause. When would you be able to do that? When you place the goal higher than yourself. In other words, I'm only putting the other side of it. You're right, Gayatri. The other side of it is when you understand the futility in pursuit of your desires. When you understand the hollowness in the pursuit of your own self-aggrandizement. You understand the emptiness in it. As long as you feel there's something in the pursuit of the desire, as long as you're entertained, as long as you're excited by the pursuit of your own selfish desires, you will continue to do so. The first glimpse of sattva is you will understand the absurdity of that pursuit. You will understand the futility. You will understand the hollowness. So, sattva is to understand the hollowness of that and the importance of this, which is what you're saying. When you place the higher goal above yourself, the other side of it is you understand the futility in the lower. Same thing. You don't get excited by something. That kind of a mindset you have. You have a mindset that it does not excite you. You understand the futility. You are with me, Sureshji? I'm lost for better words than futility, hollowness, or absurdity. Maybe you can add
Yeah,
more.
this is what that famous quote of George Bernard Shaw. This is the true joy in life, being used for a purpose recognized by you as a mighty one, being a true force of nature rather than a feverish little clod of ailments and grievances, complaining that the world will not devote itself to make you happy. When you devote yourself to a higher purpose, a higher goal, you become an instrument of the divine and you act in a spirit of yajna.
Very poetic indeed. But that fire to work for with a yajna spirit gets dampened by the desires, gets dampened by one's selfishness, gets ruined by your own ego and selfish causes.
And the irony of it all is when you devote yourself to this higher cause and you work in a spirit of yajna, you also ultimately discover that your puny desires in the process also get fulfilled. That is the irony, but it's a beautiful irony, which one has to experience, which one must have the courage to foresee.
Absolutely. They will, all your desires will ultimately get fulfilled. But the question is whether you're trying to fulfill it by chasing them or let them get fulfilled by disregarding them.
It's like, you can take a boat and you have a nice ride in the ocean, but you prefer to, you know, go in the Hussain Sagar Lake.
Thanks, Sureji. So either you, therefore, in continuation of this thought, a sattvic person, a rajasic person acts on desires. What does a sattvic person act on? Aparoji. If a rajasic person is acting on desires, a sattvic person's life is defined by what's that one word answer I'm looking at, sir? One word answer, one word for Rajas is desire. One word for Sattvic person. I'm just extending on what Suresh ji said and what we just commented on. Everybody else just hold on to your answers even in the chat box. Just hold on. Don't give any lead to anybody to think. Yeah, take your time, sir.
The selfless action is Sattvic, Guruji.
Yes. No. The question I'm asking, can you repeat, sir?
One word one word to define the Sattvic guna.
No, no. What precisely I'm asking is, a selfish person acts on desires. What is that which determines a life of an unselfish or a sattvic person? Okay, what's the opposite of desire? Don't say no desire. Huh?
I'm just trying to correlate with action because all three gunas are attributed through actions. So it is only the so a Rajasic person is acting because of desires. A Sattvic person, his actions are basically for greater benefit of others. So
The term I'm looking for, we have not spelled out in the last half an hour. Yet we have just spoke about how providence takes care of you. Suresh, you was saying every other desire will get fulfilled. We're talking about overseeing the desire, working for a higher cause. And what is that which provides for a sattvic person?
it's basically for me. I was thinking from quite some time and during discussion, it is the vairagya that actually that perpetuates a sattvic person to whatever he is doing. It is he vairagya is the word I am thinking, Guruji.
See, Vairagya was to the concept when you see the futility in the lower. That is the
That's
word. Sanskrit word is to see the hollowness in a pursuit is Vairagya. Only when you see the Vairagya in the lower, you will be fired to work for a higher cause. I'm glad you brought out that word Vairagya. But to the question, what is opposite of desire is deserving. You will not operate on desire. You will live a life of deserving. You understand one gets what one deserves, not what you desire. Since a sattvic person is established in the knowledge and understanding that it is not what you desire, life always gets you what you deserve. So he operates on the principle of not desiring. He will not act on desire. This is the sattva in you. So, to the extent you are sattvic, you will operate on this principle of doing your dharma, doing your karma without expecting, without wanting, without desiring anything, and let your own actions provide you through providence, through karma, get whatever you deserve. So, you don't unnecessarily bother by desiring, expecting, and complaining why your desires are not being met. Why is this happening? Why is that happening? The desire and the repercussions of desire, which is a trademark of Rajasic, all disappears to a point where you can't fathom. How is it possible not to act on desire? Yes, it's very much possible. You do your duty based on your intellect, you do your dharma, Thereafter, let providence and life decide what I deserve. If this is all I deserve, I'll be happy with it. So all our lives, believe me, all our lives, all through our life, what we have learned is to manage our lives with whatever resources I had. In my initial days, when we were in Malaysia, those years, we couldn't afford to even take a cab to one place to other to go and meet people. We couldn't afford to have 3 meals a day. So if what was provided with our effort, we had to learn to manage with that. Obviously, it was a new place we had gone. Having served here for 7, 8 years, there was an established center, the Vedanta Hyderabad chapter. It was flourishing with so many students, so many activities. Everything was there. I had a home. We just got married. Everything was beautiful. But then Swami said, go there. We went there. I can't expect a red carpet treatment to be there. I can't expect the comfort which I had. It was a new center which had to be developed. You can't expect things, though there was basic uh, interest from students. We knew we had to sow seeds for it to grow. Somebody had to sacrifice. So you learn to manage your life. Everybody has gone through, not necessarily you would have gone through a phase of challenges and lives and sacrifices. But what I'm trying to say is not trying to advertise myself here. What I'm trying to say is a man who is established in sattva always keeps a check or lid on his desires. He always operates on the principle of deserving. So desire is knocked out, desire is kicked out of his life. He doesn't entertain any desire.
So what is the single word, Guruji? Here, the deserving is the single word?
Deserving.
So basically, you mean that he is content with what he has.
Absolutely. He's very content.
It's content. It's not the contentment, it is the content.
Yeah, it's a contentment.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you, sir. Otherwise, your desires will constantly keep chasing you, pushing you. And the desires are relentless. You may have power, you want more power. You have money, you want more money. You have recognition, you want more recognition. The trap of Rajas is so powerful. You want to get out of it. You have to, I would say nothing doing. I have to break the clutches. I have to get out of the clutch, the bondage of desires. You have to break it. The world is going to suck you into it. Must say no, nothing doing. My priority is my upliftment. Everything else shall wait. Then everything else will follow. Everything else fall in its place. Otherwise, you will have 110 reasons why you will not be able to do this. That is justification. That is desires. Yes, Harish.
Guruji, if we are all operating helplessly on our vasanas, for example, and if I, supposing I have a vasana for gambling, and I go to the casino and waste all my money gambling, and I become a gambling addict.
Do you?
No, I don't. This is a hypothetical.
Okay.
So my question is, if I'm helplessly acting on my vasanas because I'm in that environment, then if I'm helplessly acting, how do I, because that's also a desire, it's an addiction, that's a desire to go and gamble. But if I'm helplessly acting on my vasanas, then how do I uplift myself to reduce that desire to become more sattvic when I'm helplessly acting on the vasana, for example?
So you want a hypothetical answer or real answer?
Real answer, Guruji.
I only have real answers to real questions. You are asking hypothetical question, I'll have to give hypothetical answers.
No, Guruji, real answer, please.
No, you can't lay conditions on my answers. You can only give questions. You are determining how should I answer also. This is very unfair. Your desires are getting little too unrealistic.
As you wish, Guruji.
No, see, if somebody is so caught up in, see, You're only talking of one vasana for gambling. That person is addicted to gambling. All of us have tamas. All of us have addictions in different areas. The principle is the same. Doesn't matter. You may try to magnify saying gambling is something terrible. I can say you can be addicted to talking. You can be addicted to sleeping. You can be addicted to eating. You can be addicted to your phone. You can be addicted to aggrandizing. It can be any addiction. So tamas expresses it can be to anything that you can be addicted to. So I would not magnify uh, addiction to gambling as something more terrible than any other addiction. You can be addicted to anything. It's all about being conscious and trying to put in the necessary effort to promote other guna in yourself. So a tamasic person should try to promote rajas in him. A rajasic person should promote sattva in him. That is what we said. The purpose of life is to move from tamas to rajas, rajas to sattva. In fact, that's an incomplete statement. To say that's all the purpose of life is incomplete. Even last week I said I only stopped with this. The purpose of life is just not to move from tamas to rajas to sattva. The purpose of life is to get established in trans sattva, is to transcend sattva. So as you keep going from tamas to rajas to sattva and get firmly established in sattva, once you get firmly established in sattva, means 99% sattva, then automatically you catapulted to the state beyond sattva, which is trans sattva. You transcend the gunas. That is the purpose of life. So the principle of coming out of your addiction to anything is one and the same. You have to put an effort to. There's no one specific thing, sir. I can't say this is the thing. You'll have to put in a collective effort to find ways and means how you can get out of that addiction. Thank you. Thought there was a question Soumya asked. Okay, how does sattvic quality help us in emotional disturbance? Sattvic quality is to keep you mentally composed. Rajasic quality is to get emotionally in a turmoil. You get excited for no reason, you get dejected for no reason. That is Rajas. If the world dances to your expectations, you're excited. If the world doesn't dance to expectation, you're dejected. You complain the world is not dancing your tunes. What is your tune? What is your raga? Why should the world sing to your raga and your tala? Huh? Keep a check on your raga and tala. World is not sitting out there to dance to your tunes or fan to your ego. So when you understand that, you will not unnecessarily get into emotional turmoil. Sattva is to understand that world is not going to dance or satisfy me. So you keep your emotions in check. So a mental state of mind where you are peaceful and calm and composed to a large extent. You may see sattva is also how quickly you come back to your composure. There may be things that disturb you in a day, an experience that annoys you, but how quickly you come back to your sense of equanimity and you carry on your actions. Okay. Okay. So sattva helps you to keep a check on the state of your mind, which is calm and equanimous. Okay. Now we'll move on. We'll take up verse 6, please. Tat Tatra sattvam nirmalatvat prakashakam Sukha sanghena badhnati jnana sanghena chanagha tatra sattvam nirmalatvat prakashakam Sukha sanghena badhnati jnana sanghena chanagha. A beautiful section 6, 7 and 8. These three verses brings out a beautiful aspect. He says, of these, referring to the three gunas, of these, sattva, due to its stainlessness, nirmalatvat, is luminous, prakashakam, and anamayam is healthy. He is giving the traits of sattva. Sattva is stainlessness, mala is stain, nirmala is stainlessness. Because of its stainlessness, it is luminous and healthy. It binds through attachment to sukha sanghena. It is binding with attachment to happiness. Jnana sanghena, attachment to knowledge. Oh, anagha. Oh, anagha. Anagha means, oh, sinless one. So, Lord Krishna is very lovingly addressing Arjuna as very endearingly, he's addressing, you are a sinless fellow. You're a pure soul. So he's admiring Arjuna. Look at the choice of words. Now, very interesting. In Sattva, thanks, Ma. In Sattva, there is no dirt, nirmala. There is no vasanas. There is no desires. There is no stain. So he's trying to portray. We have done the pre-work of trying to understand the gunas. The last satsang, and to a large extent till now, we understood what sattva, rajas, tamas is. But as far as the text is concerned, there's a first definition of sattva. So sattva being stainless, it is prakasham, prakasham, prakashakam. Prakashakam means luminous. It is shining. It is transparent. It is beautiful. They say a spiritual man has an aura. They say they are attractive. Whatever they do is very beautiful. Where does that aura come from? It is the sattva in them. The sattva in them makes them luminous. And then he says, anamayam. It is healthy. The mind is in a healthy state. The mind is pure. The mind is clean. It reflects in a healthy living, which also radiates in their physical health. So they're anamayam, physically healthy, mentally very pure. Everything is clean. What is the opposite of anamayam? Yes, sir.
Opposite of anamayam.
What is anamayam? We said anamayam means healthy. Are you with us, sir?
Yeah, anamayam is it? Is it purity? Is it
How did we define anamayam as? We said a pure mind.
pure mind?
Everything is clean,
healthy, and
healthy,
transparent, luminous.
transparent, shining. You said is luminous is prakashakam. Prakashakam means it is luminous. He is
Yeah.
giving two attributes of sattva here. First, he says it is luminous, it is healthy. Because it is stainless, it is luminous, is healthy. So this is the first definition of sattva he is giving us.
Hmm.
Imagine you don't know what sattva is, you must try and understand. Oh wow, a sattvic person is glowing. Everything he
Yeah.
does, there is luminosity with him. There's brilliance, radiance. Okay, and then he says it reflects in anamayam. It is healthy, healthy in terms of mind, healthy in terms of environment,
Hmm.
how you live, how you present yourself, healthy in terms of body as well. Physically also you are healthy. It
Like
radiates in physical health,
emitting the positive energies aura.
positive energy at all levels. So the question I was asking is, what is the opposite of anamayam? Arre? What is the opposite
All
of?
this part of the whatever we described now is a part of the wording which you have selected there.
I'm only asking the opposite of it. It's not a difficult question, sir. What is the opposite
Choice of
of
the right word.
health? What is the opposite of health?
Yeah. Hmm. Unhealthy. It's going to be in the everything is opposite. We're talking a transparent.
A person who is sattvic is conscious of his health. Now, today you look at who are in the spiritual field. Mostly people are heavy.
People are
Heavy.
heavy. Okay. Ah, okay. That's not.
Gundus. Why are they gundus? Because of their dear devotees. Their devotees are giving pure laddu, pure ghee laddu. What do? I
Yeah.
have to eat the laddu and then become one laddu. No, you're not conscious of health.
Health.
There is no energy, there is no vibrance, there is no action in them. So there is a certain the way they carry themselves. They are dull. There is no vibrance. There is no radiance. Yet they are well versed in the shastras. Yet they have everything is there.
Yeah.
But when you talk of is sattva reflecting in them, it's just a point for self introspection. Interesting. He paints this picture of sattva. You get it? You look at pujaris, how they are. Far from sattva. And right from morning to night, they are in the sanctum sanctorum. You will put effort, every possible means to have a glimpse of the Lord. They are there in the presence of the Lord from morning to night. And yet, where is the sattva in them, glowing in them? Have you not seen of, I'm not saying everybody's like that, have you not heard of pujaris, main priests in these prominent temples, leading to unethical practices? Even in the Tirumala temple, was it not long ago that the main priest was caught with so much of wealth he has amassed and abused the position where he was? So where is sattva? You can be in the sanctum sanctorum yet not have sattva in you, but yet they are in every possible way they are qualified to be there.
Guruji, when you're talking about pujaris, 2 days back, an instant, small, little time. So we were in a lift going down. from a 5th floor to the ground floor. Somewhere between 2nd and 3rd floor, a pujari has got into the lift. Immediately, what he said, he was carrying the idol, goddess idol on brass wood one. He put in the middle of the door of the lift door to stop the doors are not moving. Then he went out again, brought 4 more idols, and all is transferred inside. And he just kept close to our foot and taken a purse and taken out his visiting cards. He's saying that I does the puja work and I also rent these idols to the people to do the puja. This is my card. This is my card. You can imagine we were literally flabbergasted that the idol which you do a puja put too close to your foot and using that idol as a stopper and have all the dress code and everything. You can imagine that is definitely the people flock him for the taking his blessings.
He is a good marketeer.
Absolutely. Absolutely. He is marketing the god.
Marketing God. I don't. Rajas in
Tama and we both were there in that lift together. Shocked to see that. We were literally could not say anything what to do. The clothes, what is being put onto the goddess is touching our feet. He's just not worried and not concerned anything about that.
Blatant grossness to a point of fault is shocking, shocking. This is what I'm saying. You to visualize sattva and to see it in action is a rarity, sir. It's a rarity. You have to see it. You have to see it in action. If it is not seen in action, then there's no sattva. So everything around you must be conscious of dirt. So he says clean, pure. People always associate me. So why are you everywhere? Moment people keep almost pulling my leg. That even in the institute, wherever you are, wherever I am, right now, you see, there's a tumbler here. It has to be with a coaster. I had a cup of my black tea in the morning, 4:30. It is there, lying with a coaster there. Conscious of cleanliness. It's not point where you're addicted to it. Sattva is being conscious of imperfections. Is not. It's unheard of. So to a large extent, it is all in definition, sadly. Is to invoke godliness in everything that you do. And you put the deities itself as a doorstopper, for God's sake. Alarming, alarming. And nobody is there to educate that fellow. And if fellow is marketing, I do puja, rajas. Now you must see, so I'm not trying to degrade or we're not trying to be insulting. We need to understand the opposite of it. You're in a world of impurity, imperfection. Now, okay, that's good. Now, the second half of the verse, he says, it binds one through attachment to sukha sanghena, jnana sanghena. So a sattvic person is attached to happiness, is attached to knowledge. Watch out. Sattva is very beautiful. It is luminous. It is bright. It is pure. It is stainless. But you will be attached to happiness. You will be attached to knowledge. Sanghena is attachment to sukham and jnanam. There's a difference in the happiness of a sattvic person and the difference in the happiness of a rajasic person. Is Vasantama there? She can answer this. Aparagaru? She's not there? Yes or no?
She's not here, sir. Just she moved out.
Okay. Then I'm not asking the question to you. I only want her answer. Hina, can I ask you this question?
Guruji.
Yes. The question is, what is the difference in the happiness of a sattvic person and a rajasic person, or rajas or tamasic person? Because he says a sattvic person is attached to happiness. What kind of happiness is talking about?
A sattvic person is always happy for others and not oneself, whereas a rajasic person is happy of accomplishing his goals and desires and attaining for more. So is always never happy, always seeking for more. I don't know.
Not wrong. A distinct trademark is a sattvic person is seeking happiness introvertedly.
Mm.
He's seeking happiness within himself through self-discovery. The sattva is inwardly you are invoking happiness. Rajasic and tamasic happiness is running behind the external world to seek happiness. It's extroverted. It's a distinct difference. All of us are relatively in a sattvic space, aspiring to lead as sattvic a life as possible. So we're all in a domain of an inward journey. We're not running behind the world, acquiring and indulging. We're to a large extent we don't resort to that kind of a life. We don't believe in that. So to a sattvic person, he's cautioning us, don't develop attachment to happiness. He's not talking of rajasic and tamasic happiness here. He's talking to a sattvic person. Sattva is developing attachment to happiness. So he's cautioning you. Don't develop attachment to sukham. Don't develop attachment to jnanam. We are all in the domain of jnanam. Knowledge is bliss. Opposite of knowledge is ignorance, is darkness. So the moment you gain this wonderful Vedantic knowledge, chances are you will develop attachment to it. He's cautioning us, it is natural, it will bind you, don't develop attachment to it. My question is why? Why is he saying so? This is the best, man. Sattva is the highest. It is the highest knowledge. This is the purest happiness. So he is talking happiness is with reference to the mind, knowledge is with reference to the intellect. So the happiness is experienced by the mind, knowledge is experienced by the intellect, and he's telling don't develop an attachment to happiness nor develop attachment to knowledge. So it is a natural consequence. A sattvic person will develop an attachment. Therefore, he's cautioning, don't. Question is why? The definition part, we are okay because we understand what sattva is. In the fourth verse, he said, is it the fourth or the fifth verse? In the fifth verse, he said that everybody is bound by the gunas. That in general, he said. Sixth, seventh, eighth, he's going to specify what a sattvic person is bound to, what a rajasic and tamasic person is bound to. Why is he saying, don't be bound? Kachima, any idea?
Knowledge becomes a binding, then, it creates an that I know everything, and that the bhakti element of the mind element goes away, and that arrogance comes in over there, even at the sattvic level, that I know everything. So to arrest that, you shouldn't be attached to it. That, and at the mental level, yeah, it also creates a fanatism, like being emotionally being attached, and you revel in that bliss, and you don't try to break that and go above it.
Can I give answer, reply in pass or fail?
It's up to you, Guruji.
No, can I? I'm not saying can I, I'm asking you.
What is the truth that should be given?
Fail. Sorry. You are talking about when you may abuse that knowledge, then it becomes ego. He's not talking of abusing the purest happiness that you gain, the purest knowledge that you attain. Don't be attached to it. Why
We
is he
stagnate
cautioning
over there.
us?
For me, once the knowledge also, we stagnate over there and does not grow beyond that. That is could be the reason why we shouldn't develop an attachment.
Correct. Now you're talking something else. Why he's telling us not to develop attachment is because attachment you stagnate. So even though you are seeking the highest possible happiness, which is inward happiness, don't develop attachment to it. Even though you are picking up the highest knowledge, Vedantic wisdom, don't develop attachment to it because attachment stagnates. Okay, this 100% pass. Now there's more to it. Let me hear from others. To begin with, Sureshi.
The ultimate goal is realization of the self, and you have to move first to the stage of transattva, and attachment will be a big hurdle in this progress. And therefore, every form of attachment must be dropped. And therefore, the sattvic person should not be attached to the attributes of sattva, which is happiness and knowledge, the characteristics. Even that attachment becomes a hurdle for self-realization. So you drop every kind of attachment so that you can shine in the glory of the self. Because even this attachment of the sattvic person to knowledge and happiness falls in the domain of the mind. And you have to transcend the mind to shine in the glory of the self.
10,000% point marks, not to 100%. Perfect. The whole purpose, as I said, the statement I made earlier, the purpose of life is to move from tamas to rajas, rajas to sattva. And that is an incomplete statement. The real statement is from sattva, you must move to trans sattva, which is to go beyond the gunas. So if you are attached to happiness, if you are attached to knowledge, it becomes an impediment for your goal, which is to attain the self or realization. So the very happiness, the very knowledge becomes an impediment. So the sadhana should be to use this happiness and knowledge or sattva as a means to the end, not as an end in itself. To ensure that you don't get caught up in the glory of knowledge or the glory of the happiness, he says, don't get attached to it. Experience it, enjoy it, revel in it, but don't get caught up in it. It's like saying, I am the most happiest person in the dream. What will be advised to him, UK? Oh, I am the most happiest person. Where in the dream? What would you tell him? And you are the guru to that fellow who is claiming to be the most happiest person. What would you tell him?
Dream is not permanent, Guruji, and you will have to come out of it sometime or other.
You are talking not to me. You must talk to the fellow who is dreaming. What would you tell him?
Just tell that dream is not permanent.
Just for a moment, imagine you're the guru. Advise him as a guru talking. What would it? How would you tell him?
Dream is a temporary phase.
You are very. You're not.
I cannot, Guruji.
Don't say that. Don't say you can't talk like a guru. Come on. You are the guru. How would you advise a fellow who thinks he is the happiest fellow in the dream? And you, what would you advise to him? Come on.
When you cannot remain in the dream, you have to wake up and come to the reality, Guruji.
You tell him. Again, you add the word Guruji there. Huh? I know where you're coming out. You will tell him, man, this is not the real.
Yeah.
You have to wake up and experience the reality. Even though you may claim yourself to be the most happiest person in the dream, it is still a dream.
Yes.
It is not the real. The reality is the waking state. Exactly the same way. I may claim myself to be the most happiest person in the waking state. I am the most sattvic person, but it is still being caught up in a dream world.
Yes.
It's like a dreamer claiming himself to be the happiest person in the dream. His advice to me is wake up to the reality.
Yeah.
The masters are telling us, wake up to that absolute state of turiya. Don't get carried away in some sattva that fascinating you. Sattva is very, very entertaining to a sattvic person, believe me.
It gives a satisfaction, Guruji.
Not satisfaction, it is far more exciting than anything else.
That's true.
Other day, you all noted that we recently went to the talk at Seedworks. Me, Gayatri Ma, and Situramanji went. And on my way back, thanks, Ushama. I'm just narrating the experience. My conversation with Gayatri Ma. Remember, Gayatri Ma, I was telling this to you. The talk that day was on blossom with values. It was a new topic that we brought out, a new topic, and he chose a corporate session to them. Though you have spoken in the 35 qualities we spoke about, in the 20 qualities of a jnani or the 26 quality of diviners, spiritual environment, we have taken satsangs. But to present it in a corporate style, I said it was a lot of planning, a lot of effort, and it is very, very enterprising for me is to be just left with the books and you give me a topic of challenge, and if I have to create a content for a subject matter, I will have 10 books spread around me with different concepts and thoughts running all over, trying to give it a shape, it's the most exciting, most joyful thing. Did I tell this or not to you? I don't want anything else. Just leave me in that world. I can just get lost in that kind of space where you're creating new content. It's not something repeating something. But as I do that, I must be very mindful that I should not develop an attachment to knowledge. One aspect of you must understand it is the most beautiful thing to do in life. Believe me, most beautiful thing is to think of this knowledge, is to study this knowledge, is to impart this knowledge, is to revel in this knowledge. But also you must understand, you must not get stuck to this knowledge. If somebody says, no, my guru is better than your guru, my knowledge is better than your knowledge, it should not offend you. If somebody destroys your view of your knowledge, it should not affect you. So when you're attached to it, you get very, you become very obsessed, you become very possessed. So be very, very mindful that you don't develop an attachment, because knowledge and happiness are like a pole vaulter. Remember the example of pole vaulting. A pole vaulter uses the pole to cross the bar. You can't hang on to the pole. So sattva is only a means to get to transattva. Don't get parked in sattva. Don't get stuck to sattva. To that reason, he says, it binds. Be mindful of the consequences of getting bound to happiness, bound to knowledge. It is not Sattva is not the goal. Sattva is the path to the goal. When you don't realize that, you develop an attachment to the path itself. Aparoji. Everything clear, sir?
Yeah, Guruji. It's Guruji, I have a question.
I knew that, sir. That's the reason I asked you.
So, is it if a person who is trying to, a person who is pursuing the higher goal, does he have to transcend from tamasic to rajasic, rajasic to sattva, or is it possible for a tamasic person to get enlightenment or a rajasic person to get enlightenment without transcending to this gunas?
So is the question, can a tamasic person gain enlightenment?
Yeah, basically, yeah, because in one of the lectures you said that the enlightenment is like a lamp that give, that lightens all around. So, can a tamasic person get enlightenment without going through rajasic and sattvic gunas? Without developing rajasic and sattvic gunas, and then become sattvic?
Obviously, I mean, it sounds obvious, but the fact that you're asking is a legitimate question. It is not possible. One has to reach a state of 99.9 sattva for one to reach that infinite state of 100% to reach a state of 100 days. So 100% sattva cannot remain. You know why? It's like, sir, when you make an ornament with gold, you cannot make an ornament with 100% gold. It needs to have the impurity of silver or bronze or other metal in it for it to give it a solidarity. You cannot have an ornament with gold, 100% gold. Similarly, you cannot have an individuality with 100% sattva. The movement is 100% sattva, it is trans sattva.
Why I'm
So what?
asking this
Yeah.
question is, I have to, sorry to interrupt you, sir.
No, sir.
There are just one example is in Telugu, there is a great poet who is Yogi Bhemana. He was absolutely attached and nothing, and he had lots of bad habits and all. Or if all of a sudden he got enlightenment, and we all have those poems in our textbooks also in Telugu states. Similarly, we have another example of Gautam Buddha who got enlightened. So all of a sudden he got the vairagya, and he said, "Let me not live in this world. Let me pursue something that is higher." So these are the two examples I was thinking. So is it possible for a person all of a sudden get vairagya, and irrespective of his gunas, he may transcend to, he may actually pursue the higher purpose?
So nothing happens all of a sudden. It's all a crystallization. All is a resultant of your past efforts. It may not be seen, but result seemingly appears all of a sudden. So don't go by the lifestyle of personalities, please. You'll not understand a concept. You have to understand the concept first. So tamas is the lowest form of a guna. Rajas is mediocre. Sattva is the highest. Trans sattva is the goal we all are seeking. So in order to reach that state of trans sattva, you must reach a state of 99.99 sattva. And once you reach that state and remain there, you can't sustain. You're automatically transported to trans sattva. Like I said, you can't make an ornament without any impurity in it.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, Guruji. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So the real takeaway as far as the 6th verse is concerned is understand sattva as a means to the end. Never ever get caught up in the joy of being stainless and luminous and healthy and develop attachment to the happiness you derive and the knowledge of sattvic knowledge. So it's so important that don't develop attachment to it. So you perform that activity with an objectivity, understand it is just a ferry that is taking me to my goal. You don't get stuck to the ferry. They often use the example of a boat, which helps you to cross from the shore of mortality to the shore of immortality. So the boat of sattva is just that takes you from the lower to the higher. The highest is sattva, trans sattva. 99.99% of people are attached to it. Very rare 0.1% are detached to it. And the possibility of being detached is only possible when you are aware that you should not develop attachment. All right, so this is just one-off thing why we had to have a why we have to have a class at this hour. The next satsang we will come back to our usual timing. So please be mindful of this change only for this satsang today. Okay, we'll come back. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.